This podcast is brought to you by Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate, powered by Kangaroo Fern Media Lab. Kangaroo Fern is Australia's independent video and podcast management agency with the mission to help individuals and entrepreneurs to start their own podcasts and harness the power of podcasting. Book now via www.kangaroofern.com.
A Kangaroo Fern production.
A Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate.
Thing we can do is just get stops and run. Stops and run, guys. Push, push, push every time.
Extra session with Kiko Malikdem tackles everything about the world of sports, especially the one close to the host heart, basketball. Updates, discussion, clarification, name it. Extra session has it. Extra session with Kiko Malikdem.
Okay, guys, ladies and gentlemen, basketball fans, welcome again to your favorite extra session with Kiko Malikdem. Today, we'll be having a special guest. We are excited to hear from him about his stories, about his playing career. He's known as the one who broke David Robinson's 9-year single record in NCAA Division I for blocks per game after registering an amazing average of 6.36 blocks per game. He also played for the Los Angeles Clippers in the NBA. Without further ado, welcome, standing at 7'3", playing center, Keith Kloss. Okay, Keith, good day. How are you right now, especially, the world changed after this pandemic?
Oh man, the pandemic has really brought on a lot of uncomfortable changes and challenges for the whole world. And it's been a challenge to adjust and adapt to the way some things are, but all we can do is make the best of things where we can.
Now, so I'm not going to go around the bushes, but we're going to focus on your career. A lot of people wondered, how did you start playing basketball? How did playing basketball began for you?
My father played high school basketball. He played a lot of playground basketball. He was 6'7", and I was born in Connecticut. So, and in the projects where I'm from, where my family is from, we had a lot of basketball players come out of there and out of that city, Hartford, Connecticut in particular. As a toddler, I had a basketball hoop that was hung over my door frame. And I remember shooting at that when the big kids and the grown-ups were using the main basketball courts over at the projects. Myself, my playmates, we played crate ball. We tied up a crate to the laundry lines or to the trees, and we played crate ball. So, Marcus Canby lived downstairs from me. So he was one of my playground mates, playing crate ball. And that's what we did.
Yeah, I see. Now, were you tall, when you were still young? I mean, were you that tall among your batchmates?
Yes. I was always one of the tallest out of all my friends, my playmates, classmates. Yeah. Marcus, he was taller than me until about 10th grade. Then we caught up in height. I was a freshman at 6'4". He was a sophomore at 6'8". And then I started my sophomore year at 6'8". So over the summer, from freshman to sophomore year, I grew 4 inches, and I eventually passed him up, a couple of years later. Yeah.
Yeah, he stopped, growing out 6'10" or 6'11", something like that.
6'11", 7 foot, yeah.
Now, who are your basketball idols growing up? With regards to basketball, who were your influences or basketball idols?
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was my all-time favorite NBA player. I didn't know I'd grow to be an inch taller than him, but growing up in Los Angeles, it was a Laker town, and I fell in love with the Lakers immediately. I got a chance to meet Kareem several times, Magic, Michael Cooper, Byron Scott, Bob McAdoo, Jamal Wilkes, James Worthy. The list goes on and on of the guys I was able to meet as a kid, as a fan. A youngster going to the games. When I was in high school, and the recruiting process started heavy around my junior year. There was a guy by the name of Ronnie Wimbush.
Okay.
He was a 6'8" guard, a point guard. He was the first point forward that I saw. Well, other than Scottie Pippen, Scottie Pippen, George Gervin, those guys. Tall, lengthy, running a point. Making great passes. He could shoot. The mid-range game was there. So I started, incorporating bits and pieces of his game into mine as well. Because as a youngster, when I would play pickup at the parks, of course, now I'm playing with adults and I'm not always the tallest one. So from a young age, I developed my ball handling skills and my shooting ability, and I was just able to maintain it as I grew. But Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the NBA, and Ronnie Wimbush from Azusa Pacific University.
And you said earlier that you were recruited heavily back then in high school.
Yes.
Why did you choose to play for Central Connecticut Blue Devils?
I had to go back a little bit. My junior year, what happened was my junior year, the coach didn't allow me to try out for the varsity team. He turned me and another friend away at the door. I'm 6'11".
Oh man.
Tallest kid in the district, in the division. He turned me away. He said that he had enough talent on his team. So I basically said, screw schoolwork. I'll do my test, but I'm not going to really participate in the class assignments. And I barely skated, I barely passed to my senior year because of my test scores. I had to go back my senior year and make up credits for my junior years to become college eligible. Central Connecticut State, they stayed consistent with me through the process, just very supportive. Coach Mark Adams, Ted Woodward, Coach Mark Borgeson, those guys, they showed faith and consistency, and just encouragement. Keith, it's gonna be a challenge, but we believe you can do it if you set your mind to it. If you want to play Division I basketball, you have the opportunity to. So the other schools started to fall away because they didn't think I was going to be eligible. They didn't think I was going to be able to graduate from high school. Not the case with Central Connecticut. They stayed true, and before I even graduated, when I went on my recruiting trip that April, I signed my national letter of intent to play for them because of the commitment that they had shown me. And what I learned is that they cared more about me as a person than as a player. Yeah, it was important that I graduate and become eligible to represent the university, but it was more important that, I accomplished that goal, you know what I mean, and give myself a real chance.
I see. Now, of course, nowadays, the situation is that if you're still in high school, you can opt not to go to college. And you have the NBA G League. If ever the situation was the same before, would you have jumped with the NBA G League, or would you have stayed with playing college ball?
You know what? I'm not sure how I would have decided on that. That would have been a tough call. When I graduated from high school, I was 7'2", 175 pounds. So that it was just not really, I don't know what I would have done, because I never shied down, backed away from competition, but basketball was something that was very important for me and for a lot of my generation. So who knows what decision I would have made though.
I see. Now, after 2 years, you actually jump. You jump. You place your name on the NBA draft. Am I right? Now,
Yeah.
Did you ever regret going to NBA early? Did you wish
No,
that you have stayed?
no, didn't. Situation at the university where our coach, Mark Adams, was unfairly like, he was in the middle of building something special with us. Um, and was Holly Dickman, assistant at UConn at the time, who also happened to be an alumni of Central Connecticut State University. So it was an opportunity for him to come in and
Okay, I think you're having a problem with the signal, with the audio.
that's all call me disturb. I don't know why it still came through. Can you hear me?
Yes, that's it. That's
Okay.
much clearer.
Okay, somebody was calling. I put my phone on do not disturb. I don't know why it came through.
I see.
But so like I said, I didn't like the situation, the way it happened. Plus, my family, that let me know that I couldn't trust them.
Mhm.
And I had planned on actually transferring to the University of Utah so I could team up with my AAU point guard, Andre Miller.
Mhm.
And the coach, the incoming coach, changed up my transcripts
Mhm.
so that I wouldn't be eligible to play.
Yes.
So I had no choice but to declare, and I didn't declare right away because that was the summer of '96.
Mhm.
So, I just keep going. And when I that summer as a free agent, a rookie free agent, playing on the free agent team, um, that was nerve wracking,
Mhm.
because I'm out there. And so I didn't do too well that year, that summer. I had an opportunity at the ABA back in Connecticut for the Norwich Neptunes
Mhm.
for declaring in the NBA draft for the '97-'98 season.
I see.
I don't regret it at all.
Mhm.
The one bit. It was a situation I was pretty much. I took advantage of it.
I see. Now, did you expect that you would go undrafted? I think your
Hear me? Your screen froze up.
yeah,
Can you
yeah.
hear me?
Yeah, I could hear you right now. I think your screen froze
Okay.
up also, but then I could hear your
Okay.
audio right now.
Okay. So, um, I did expect to be drafted.
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia and Seattle,
Mm-hmm.
they were calling my agent
Mm-hmm.
saying that they're going to draft.
Mm-hmm.
And I had expectations of being drafted, and it was quite a disappointment when that didn't happen.
I see. Now,
So I had a chip on my shoulder.
yeah.
I said, I'm going to make it. I know I'm going to make it. I don't know how, but I know I'm going to make it. And I'm going to make I'm going to make all of those teams pay.
I see. Now, I mean that's good to know because sometimes there are players who go undrafted suddenly lose their passion or motivation. But in your part, you were there. I mean, you like what you said. You had a chip on your shoulders, and it motivated
Right.
you to go further with your career.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I had something to prove.
Mhm. Now, before playing in the NBA, which team do you wish that you had played for?
Well, I grew up a Lakers fan.
Mm-hmm.
So that was always my dream to play for the Lakers, you
Yeah.
know, and I played with them in the Summer Pro League, after going undrafted.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had a chance to team up with Kobe,
Yeah.
Derek Fisher, and quite a few other very talented guys. Jimmy King, who played for Michigan in the Fab Five, James
Mhm.
Forrest out of Wake Forest, Shea
Right.
Seals out of Tulsa.
Mhm.
Uh, my goodness, I've got Alvin Sims from Louisville,
Wow.
another strong guard.
Mm-hmm.
Ace Custis from Virginia Tech, C.J. Bruton, who went on to represent Australia and had a good playing career in Australia. He's now starting his professional coaching career in Australia. So, yeah, I thought that I had a chance to sign with them, but I didn't realize that their roster was already full. So I would have just gotten an invite to camp just to be an extra body, if nothing else.
I see. Now, if there's a thing that you would like to recall and change, in the past, what would it be?
Oh, sometimes I say my alcoholism problems that I had when I was younger, because that really played a major role in why I lasted in the NBA, my behavior under the influence of alcohol. But then, maybe my life wouldn't be what it is today. I'm 14 years sober as of September 17th.
Wow.
And my life is about giving guidance, to younger, not just players, but to everyone that I encounter, and just, trying to be a maximum service wherever I'm needed, wherever God places me. So, those mistakes, those trials and tribulations that I had, it was worth it at the end of the day because of who I was able to become, the man I'm able to become today.
Now, I was about to ask you, just to confirm it, because I was checking the stats, your stats in the NBA, and I think that was a pretty good stats line for a young guy, especially if coming from the bench and more focus on defense. Your NBA career ended abruptly around 3 to 4 years because there are some rumors of because of the drinking habit or attitude of fighting with the coaches. How about the fighting of the coaches? How true was it?
It was very true. I had an ego problem, to be honest, and I think all professional athletes do. All people who excel at their craft have some bit of an ego, and you have to remember at that time when I was playing, that was the era of the dominant big man. I was able to do this stuff in college. I was able to do this stuff in NBA. It's just that I wasn't allowed to. I had to play my role, and I had a very difficult time adjusting to my role. Had I adjusted to my role better, then, and had just accepted it, I would have had a longer career. But it was just the ego and, also being frustrated with playing for a losing organization. And the players, we cared about winning. We wanted to win. We did our best out there to win. But sometimes the cards were stacked against us because the organization, the top of the organization, starting from Donald Sterling to upper management, they didn't really care about a winning culture. They were filtering players in and out, in and out, in and out. People would start to build up and then they get rid of them and bring in someone else. And they start to build up and then get rid of them, bring in someone else. And also, veteran leadership on teams is so important to have for young players. My veterans are 25 and 26 years. I'm 21, going on 22. And everyone's just basically fed up with the situation. So nobody's really given any kind of guidance on how to get through things. Mainly when I went to my veterans was, well, I don't know what to tell you. You're going to have to figure it out, And so I grew up in a fight or flight era, and I don't run. So I fought back, instead, which wasn't the right thing to do, but it was the only thing that I knew to do.
Nice.
So that's why I take a stance today, and I have for many years now of, giving guidance to younger players whether they ask for it or not. If I recognize something, I pull them to the side and we address it, we talk about it, and I give them suggestions on how to better handle themselves, the next time they find themselves in that kind of situation. You know,
Mhm.
and I use myself as an example of what will happen if you don't.
I see.
You know,
Mhm. So basically, you believe that if ever you were playing for another team, it would have been better for your career.
well, a team with solid veteran leadership,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely, absolutely. You know, that's so imperative. Um, it means the world to the younger guys and helping them adjust
Mm-hmm.
to everything because now it's a whole different ball game, and you learn that it's more business than it is pleasure. Yeah, we're getting paid millions of dollars, but at the end of the day, it's a business, you
Yes.
know, and I found that out the hard way.
Mm-hmm. Now, I read somewhere that you divulged in a well, actually in a podcast that you had a feud with some of your Clippers teammates, namely Lamar Odom, Michael Olowokandi, Maurice Taylor. What was the beef all about?
Uh, Youngsters with egos, you know, just
Mhm.
young guys with egos, and
Mhm.
we're all part of the same environment, you know, with a losing tradition, and we're fed up with it, and you know, we just clashed like teammates and like brothers are gonna do, you
Yes,
know.
I see.
Um, I appreciate my time with those guys, though.
Mhm.
You know, looking back, and there weren't there weren't many clashes. You know, there was
Mhm.
just a few that stood out more than others, and for the most part, we just wanted to play ball and win.
Yeah.
You know, more than anything, we wanted to win because nobody likes losing. There's no
Mhm.
fun in losing. You
Correct.
know, and it kind of sucked the losing kind of sucked the fun out of it.
Mhm.
You know, but we did the best that we could with it.
I see. Now you earlier, like what you said, you played in an era where there was Michael Jordan, Kobe
Yes.
Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, Karl Malone, Tim Duncan, something like that. How was it like playing with these big names? Were you in awe when you faced them, or were you were motivated to show them that you can play?
Both. It
Mhm.
started off as awe, but
Mhm.
then it turned into, wait a minute, this is what I do. You know, they haven't seen anyone like me yet.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get out there and show them what I have as well. You know,
Mhm.
not only do I have to guard them, they got to guard me.
Mhm.
And it didn't always fare in my favor because I was on the bench a lot, you
Mhm.
know. But I took advantage of the few opportunities that I had, the few small windows that I had. You
Mhm.
know, I take advantage. One particular game against Cleveland.
So you want to start a podcast? Or perhaps you've already started one, but you're still unclear on how you can actually make this podcasting work. No worries. That's why we're here for you. We are Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate, powered by Kangaroo Fern Media Lab. Join our network. Contact us at info@kangaroofern.com because we're stronger together.
I the coach Bill Fitch calls me over, and he says, "All right, all I want you to do is play defense, rebound. That's it. I don't want you to do anything else." So I looked at my teammates as I'm walking past the bench to the scores table. They give me this nod, and I take the nod as, "Oh yeah, go do your thing."
Yeah.
And I nod back, and I get out there. I go 6 for 6, you know,
Wow.
and I'm just really, I really show everything that I have, from the ball handling to the shooting to the, I just gave everything right then and there. 6 for 6. The next dead ball, Coach Fish is at half court, and he's cussing me out all the way to the end of the bench. That's not what the F I told you to do. What is wrong with you? You're gonna sit here and you're gonna think about it for a couple of games. I got benched for like the next 10 or 15 games,
Ah,
you know.
unfair.
And yeah, yeah. So it was rough, man. It was really rough. And it's like, how do you see? I was the first undrafted rookie free agent to sign a big contract.
Mm-hmm.
5 years, 8.4 million.
Yeah.
Nobody else had done that until I did. So I wasn't comfortable with sitting on a bench and collecting a check like
Mm-hmm.
many other players were.
Yes.
I wanted to get out there and show you and prove to you why I was getting paid that kind of money. And so it was unacceptable for me to sit there on the bench,
Mm-hmm.
especially when I knew that I could help my team better by being out on the floor. And it showed because when I went in the game, the whole tempo changed. Because now if I'm not blocking the shot, I'm changing the shot, you
Yes.
know, and I'm getting other opportunities, setting good screens for my teammates, and you know, trying to make the best play possible for us. And it didn't even have to do with getting a shot for myself. You know, every once in a while they give me the ball and I take advantage when I could.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I didn't force anything. I just let it flow naturally. But then 2, 3 minutes and back to the bench I go. And then I don't play for 5 games. And then I play 10 minutes. And then I play 1 minute. And then I play 3 minutes. Then I don't play for 10 games.
Ah,
Then I play 20 minutes. And
yeah.
then I don't play for 2 games. So it was very, very inconsistent and hard to do anything, you know. That was just frustrating.
I see. Now, you were also known for your, Afro hair, which at that time
Yeah,
was kind of unique for NBA.
yeah.
Seldom we see an Afro player wearing that hairdo. Was that a plan of yours so that it's more of marketing yourself? Since
No,
this
not
becoming
at all.
hit, you know?
That was just me, you know. When I didn't have my hair braided, I just wear it out in an afro, you know. Yeah. So, and my older cousin is Allen Iverson. He and I
Oh.
were the first ones. He and I were the ones that introduced cornrows and the design braids to the NBA, you know.
Yeah.
And you see everybody started doing it after that, you know.
Mm.
And then I wore my hair and I just took my braids out and blew it out into my afro. And then you see players start doing that. You
Yeah.
know, had the afro with the headband on.
Yeah.
Players start doing that. You know, one day I had my hair braided on the side
Mhm.
and wore it in a mohawk.
Mhm.
And this was during the lockout year,
Mhm.
98, 99. And Chris Ford was the coach. And it was the last game of the season. We were playing the Seattle Supersonics, I believe. Yeah, the Seattle Supersonics. So we were taking our team picture. And he said to me, "Who do you think you are, Dennis Rodman? Take your hair down or braid it up, finish braiding it, or you're not going to be in a team photo." Now, what he didn't know is that I have Native American heritage.
Mhm.
So I was just representing a part of my heritage with
Yeah.
the Mohawk, you
Mhm.
know, and that went completely over their heads. They didn't, and when I told them, they said, "Yeah, right, whatever, take it out now or you're not going to be in the picture." And
Mhm.
then it turned into, "You're not going to play in the game tonight."
Mhm.
So, you know, hey, some might say they're picking on me. At times, I did feel like it over the years, and talking to my teammates, they definitely agree that the coaches were sometimes picking at me. And again, that fight or flight mentality would kick in, and I just fight back because that's what I knew to do.
I
You
see.
know, I'm going to get you off of me,
Mhm.
especially if it's unfair. You know, but I had to take accountability as well for my
Mhm.
actions, the drinking.
Yes.
You know, so,
Now, of course, that like what I said, the Afro hair, it
yeah,
during the time when I played NBA live, the game console, you know,
yeah.
you were one of the players I picked from the fantasy draft there as the seventh or eighth man because hey, this is kind of unique. have
Uh-huh.
you have you played
The
yourself
seventh or eighth man. Oh
yeah.
wow.
The seventh because I need a center back then and I was hey I like this I mean this Claus thing, this Claus man, it seems he has a good blocking or defense
Oh,
stats. So
that's
I,
all they gave me credit for.
I,
I feel gypped. I feel gypped by the video games because they never gave me credit for what I could do. But that's not their fault. They weren't able to see it.
I see. But have you tried to play yourself in those video games?
Yes. And I used to get so frustrated because I would try to play my character the way I play in real life.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, it was just wasn't happening because they didn't give me those attributes.
Yeah.
So because I didn't have those attributes, it was just frustrating for me. And then my friends, they would use me, they would pick me, and they would just play the way that the game is designed to play with.
Mhm.
Oh, sorry about that. Amber alert, missing kid. So
Okay.
yeah, those alerts when they come on your phone on your devices, it blacks out whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
So
It's
yeah,
it's all
sorry
good.
about that.
It's all
Um, but my friends would kick my butt using me, 30 points, 20 rebounds, 20
good.
blocks, and I'm ticked off because I'm only when I use myself, I got 8 points, 8 rebounds, 8 blocks, you know, but they're doing all this other stuff. It's like, why can't, it was just frustrating.
I see. Now, like what I said earlier, you played with Michael Jordan. How true is it that he was like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and Shaquille O'Neal? Of course, there's this superstar ego. How true are the news or what we heard or read that they're arrogant or snobbish? Is that true?
There's a bit of arrogance when you're the cream of the crop, there's a bit of arrogance and snobby. I wouldn't say snobby. Those guys, I wouldn't call them snobby at all.
Mm-hmm.
Just imagine your job has you excel at your job so well
Mm-hmm.
that you're recognized wherever you go by the masses and they just rush you. And
Nice.
so you have no privacy wherever you go.
Mm-hmm.
People just rush you, rush you, rush you constantly, you know. And so you got to do, you got to do the best you can with it, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And that's why guys would hire private security just so that they can get through where they got to go peacefully, without being delayed.
Nice.
Um, because it can be a bit much. When I played in the CBA in China, and when I would go over there with tour teams from the United States,
Mm-hmm.
the young guys, they weren't used to that kind of attention. So now the masses are just bum rushing us in a public setting,
Mm-hmm.
and where we can't really walk one step in either direction without stepping on somebody
I
or
see.
somebody's foot.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to explain to them, look, now you know what it feels like to play at the top level. I
Right.
said, here they're going to treat you like you're one of those players
Yeah.
because you're the closest that they're going to get to actually seeing one of those guys until they're here,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
And I told them, hey, appreciate it. And they always said, boss, how do you do this? How do you do this? And I'm just signing autographs and I continue to walk. I just continue to walk. So they have to walk with me. The crowd has to move with me. And I tell my teammates, hey, don't stop. Just keep walking. Keep signing and keep walking. Because once you stop, you're going to be stuck. And so we walk through a mall and we get all
Mhm.
the way to the other side. And I turn around and guys have stopped. And so now they're stuck. And
Yeah.
they're way back there stuck and they're just waving like, oh man, please somebody go help me, That I will walk back through the crowd
Mhm.
and I would, all right, let's go start walking. I put my arm around them, just start walking, keep signing, but just start walking. I told you can't stop walking, you know. Get them to the end, we get on the bus, go back to the hotel or go to the arena or whatever, you
Mm.
know. But it was a lot of fun.
I
So,
see.
but back to your original question, no, those guys, they're not snobs
Mhm.
by far. They're not snobs. They did have an air of arrogance, because you have to in order to be successful at what you do. You know, there has to be some arrogance, especially when you're one of the best. Each and every player in the NBA, even the two guys who aren't in uniform, who are injured reserve most of the year, even they have some kind of arrogance because they're one of the elite basketball players in the world.
Yes.
You know,
I see.
it's
Now,
like a doctor who's
yes.
very, very successful, a surgeon who's very successful, a high rate of success. You know, he's when you bring in his next patient and he looks at the chart, he's like, oh, that's nothing. I got this, and I can do this with my eyes closed. You know, when
Yes.
you have a gift, you know, there's gonna be some arrogance.
Now, there was a story that you shared that you coached the late Kobe Bryant. How true was it? I mean, you were on the same age. how was how
See,
did this happen? Was he coachable?
after 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 my freshman year in college, a lady by the name of Jackie Bethea from Hartford, Connecticut. She was one of the biggest basketball brains as far as AAU basketball, evaluating talent and, you know, helping them maximize their talent. She asked me to go with her to the ABCD basketball camp, which was one of the top basketball camps for high school basketball players. The college players were going to be the coaches. So because I was in college, I was one of the coaches, and Kobe happened to be on my team. Kobe, Jermaine O'Neal, Lester Earl, Tim Thomas. These are my four biggest names on my team.
Yeah.
We knew Kobe was special back then. You know, didn't imagine he would go to the NBA 2 years later, but he did. You know, and was he coachable? Hell no. Kobe, you know, but because of all the talent that we had on the team, you know, I used to make them run sprints after the games because winning by 30, 40, 50 points, I said, it's too easy for you guys. Hit the line. You're not even sweating. You're not even breathing hard. It was too easy. Hit the line. Kobe didn't want to run. You know, he walked off the court. I'm not running, man. Forget that. You know, and I told him, hey, I'm just trying to prepare you for college because there are going to be times when coaches say some crazy things to you. They want to see where you're at mentally and mental toughness. So just do it. Your teammates are doing it. You're making yourself look bad. And his parents, family, always very supportive. They were there. You know, dad came down, chastised him for it, you know, hit him in the chest, and told him never to embarrass the family or himself like that again. And, you know, with tears in his eyes, he got out there and ran, you know. So 2 years later, when I'm now the rookie with the Lakers after a big win, I'm getting ready to go greet my family in the stands who are sitting with his family. And he says, hey, rookie, hit the line. I already knew what it was about. You know, it was Kobe's revenge. And so I laughed and I said, all right, you got it. And he said, all right, go. And so I'm sprinting down, you know, back and forth down the court while the next two teams are warming up to play. You know, I'm just sprinting along the sideline, but I got a smile on my face the whole time, you know, because, hey, he's got the seniority this time. You know, I had no choice but to listen. You know what I mean? Because I'm still unsigned and trying to get to where he is.
Yes. So basically, the two of you, are very cordial or civil with each other.
Oh, yeah. It was nothing but love, man. It was nothing but love, you know. And he used to always tell me, I'm going to dunk on you. You know, you know what? I'll see you up there. I'll meet you at the rim. How about that? And there were so many times where he would try to dunk on me and I would block it time and time again. And a couple times I blocked it so hard I put him on his butt, you know, and I laughed at him. I said, nice try, you know. And the last time we played against each other, he finally got a dunk on me. I rotated late
Mm-hmm.
and I went to swat at it, and he just double pumped it, went up underneath my arm and flushed it. Then he gave me an elbow to the ribs. We called a timeout. And so he's walking past me and he elbows me in a rib cage, knocked the wind out of me. But I didn't want him to know that it knocked the wind out of me. So I'm just, walking back to the bench trying to catch my wind. But man, oh man, it took a couple of minutes for me to catch my wind after that. But I didn't let him know, and I laughed at him and told him on the court, "You finally got one. You happy?" He said, "No, I'm coming back for more." But that was his one and only. He never got another one, but he was happy with getting that one.
I see.
When you finally get the person that you've been trying to get for so long, there's that feeling of yes, and now I got to do it again. But he
Yeah.
never got a chance to do it again. The last time I saw him was at the Drew League
Mhm.
Championships a couple years ago when I came home from China.
Mhm.
I'm the Drew League ambassador to China. So I had an all-star team of players from China,
Mhm.
from different provinces who were there representing Drew China. And we played a friendly game against some select players from the Drew.
Mhm.
And Kobe is there for the championship game, he and Gigi.
Mhm.
They're sitting across the court side. And so I didn't see him right away. But my players from China, they saw him. Kobe, Kobe, Kobe. And I'm like, what? And the coach. Uh-oh. There's coach. There's Kobe. And, I said, well, all right, there's Kobe. So I'll go and, I took my jersey and that I had worn in that game, that Drew League game. And I got it autographed by all the NBA guys who were there, retired players, current players. I got it autographed by them. So I went over to Kobe and, I saw Scottie Pippen sitting a few seats over and I asked him, hey, would you mind signing this for my Drew League China players?
Mhm.
And he looked at me kind of weird. And I said, look, I'm the Drew ambassador to China. I got a team here from China. And I pointed across the gym and he saw my players. And so he signed it. And I crept up behind Kobe and I just leaned over and I said, hey, young fella, don't you still owe me some laps? And he heard my voice and he said, oh man, wait a minute. And he turned around and he said, my man, Boss Claus. And he got up and he just gave me a big bear hug. And he said, matter of fact, no, man, you owe me some laps, you know. And we just laughed about it, sharing that memory. And he said, hey, man, that still hurts from when his dad had hit him, in the chest. I said, man, that still hurts. I still feel that. We're just sitting there laughing, and nobody at the time knew what we were talking about
Yeah.
because I had never really spoken about it, you
Mhm.
know. And so we're just sitting there laughing about it. I introduced myself to Gigi. We caught up for a minute. He signed a jersey for the guys. He waved to them, you know, and they lost it. They went absolute bananas when Kobe Bryant waved to them. And I gave the jersey with all the autographs to the MVP from China,
Mhm.
the Drew League China MVP. I gave it to him,
Mhm.
as his gift to take back to China. So my last interaction was with Kobe was one of love and, smiles. And it was like we had never lost touch with each other.
That was awesome, Now, after your career in the NBA, you went to different leagues such as the USBL, the United States Basketball League, the
Yeah.
ABA, American
Yes.
Basketball Association, and then you went back to the NBA grounds through the NBA Developmental League. That's the G League right now.
Yep.
Before ending up, in the Chinese Basketball Association. Uh,
Also the CBA, the Continental Basketball
oh
Association.
yeah, CBA, yeah. Now,
Yeah.
how did this experience from the different leagues help you as a basketball player?
at the end of the day, it's all basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved the game of basketball. I still love the game of basketball today.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just a blessing to continue to get opportunities to take advantage of this gift that God's blessed me with.
I see. Now,
It's taken me all around the world.
yeah, when did you retire playing professional basketball? And what was the moment that that made you decide that you want to hang up your shoes?
2017,
Mm-hmm.
uh, being in China for the Jump 10 tournament, and uh, I was offered a coaching job, the head coaching job of a youth basketball company there, Brothers Hoops, which was run by uh, Little Brothers Athletics in Shanghai.
Okay.
And it was then that I decided, okay, let me go ahead and hang it up
Mm-hmm.
and pass on this knowledge and love that I have for the game to the next generation, the future generations, and show them how to play the game that I love.
Mm-hmm. I see. Now, do you have family members like children or nephews that who is into sports or is targeting to follow your footsteps or for playing basketball?
I'm the only one that's played. My mom's uncle, Norman Bailey, he
Mm-hmm.
played for UConn in the 80s.
Okay.
Norman Bailey. Uh, so he and I are the only two that played Division I college basketball.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the only one that played NBA basketball.
I see.
I have cousins who played a little bit in high school and maybe at a small college, but it never materialized too much after that.
Mm-hmm.
My family either played football or basketball. The majority of them played football. I have a cousin, Tavar Kloss. He was an All-American left tackle at UConn while I was playing at Central Connecticut. So, I go to his football games, he come to my basketball games. He was drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs, but due to behavior that was brought on by so many concussions, he was sent to NFL Europe and then eventually, sent back home to Connecticut. Um, so we're the only two that tasted professional basketball. I mean, professional sports in our family.
I see.
My son, Keith III, he's 21 now. He played up until his sophomore year in high school. His junior year, Sharif O'Neal, Shaq's son, transferred to the school,
Okay.
Crossroads School, and they're very close. And he thought that he was going to play varsity as well at 6'6", but they asked him to go back down to JV, and he decided to quit. He said, if I'm not going to play varsity for my junior year and senior year, I'm not going to play basketball anymore. And so he switched over to volleyball.
I see.
Yeah.
Now, I also read or found out online that you were able to play against a Philippine team before in William Jones Cup.
Yes.
Can you describe, what was your experience playing against this Filipino? So I'm pretty sure you're much taller than the player.
Yeah.
How was it playing? How can you describe them play?
You know what?
Yeah.
They're a very, very talented group of young men. Very disciplined, very high skilled. The Philippines, people don't understand that basketball is the #1 sport in the Philippines.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what the setting is, where the basketball court is. They'll make a basketball hoop out of anything, and use whatever as a ball and play. They love it just like we love it here. And for them playing, representing the country like that, this is the highest honor. For some players, that's better than going to the NBA because you're playing on a national stage and an international stage representing your country. And now you have to match up against these NBA players or these other top players from other countries. And you have the opportunity to show the world what you have, you know, while representing for your people, for your nation. Those guys played with passion. They played with heart. They played smart, intelligent, high basketball, IQ basketball, you know, and it was so much fun just to be out there on the court with those guys. And, you know, Asti Tualuva, who, you know, played for the, yeah, that's one of my guys from California, you know, and I hadn't seen him in years since we were much younger. And so to see him suited up across, I'm like, wait a minute. And he's looking at me, and I'm like, oh man, I can't believe it, you know. And that made it even more fun, even more exciting, even more memorable. He and I exchanged jerseys after the event was over, you know. So I've got, you know, I've got a Filipino national team jersey, you know, from Aussie, and man, much respect, much love and respect, you know, to the Philippine national team. And any player who comes up and has an opportunity to join such a prestigious and, you know, highly decorated, highly respected team, they should take advantage of it and appreciate it. And I would hope that they would reach out to their elder statesmen of players who were there before them for guidance, you know, to teach them how to further their career, you know, get that longevity and how to maintain their success, you know.
Yes. Now, believe it or not, you know, Asi is still playing right now. I mean, he hasn't officially, he officially retired.
You know what? So Jermaine Barnes,
yeah,
he was responsible for putting that team together. And he had been trying to get me to come play for several years, but I just wouldn't. I used to mentor him when he was, you know, turning pro. And, you know, I met him at the Drew League and the LA Summer Pro League, and he was one of those really mouthy, talkative young guys, really cocky. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. He was really cocky and talkative. And I'm just telling him, hey, man, just shut up and play. You don't have to talk. Let your game do the talking for you, you know. So we established a very close bond, big brother, little brother bond. And when he hurt his knee, he injured his knee, he said, man, I'm going to create my own basketball league. And, you know, I'm going to help players get opportunities to become professionals. And that's what he did. So now he's helping to get involved in these international cups that are FIBA certified.
Yes.
And he says, all right, boss man, look, you've avoided me long enough. I need you in Taiwan with me. I need you in Taipei. You know, so I go to Taipei, Taiwan with him. And then all right, after this, you know, we didn't win the gold like we wanted to. But after this, we're going to the Dominican Republic. We're going to Santiago. Got another tournament down there. And, you know, I ended up winning 4 gold medals with him. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
And this dude, he's an amazing young man. He could have just given up and walked away from basketball entirely when he found out that his injuries required him to do that. Because he got all the way up to basketball camp, to training camp with the Minnesota Timberwolves. And that's when he found out the extent of his injury that forced him to retire early. But the dude is amazing, and he creates so many opportunities for young basketball players, men and women, to realize their dreams of playing professionally, you know, whether it's overseas. And if they make it to the NBA, if one makes it to the NBA one day, great, you know. But he's just that's his way of giving back, paying it forward to the next generation, gives them an opportunity, you know.
Yes.
And I'm proud of him for that.
Now, I'll be giving you some names, you know. Tell me the first thing that comes to your mind to describe him, okay? Michael Jordan.
Phenomenal.
Kobe Bryant.
Phenomenal. They were 1A and 1B.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Overwhelming.
Yeah, huge.
You know, dominant. Overwhelming dominance.
Yeah. Well, here, this is one of your former coaches, okay? Well, actually, we had him also in our podcast before. Coach Chris DeLeo.
Basketball genius.
Okay. Coach Bill Fitch.
Old school.
Coach Chris Ford.
Next.
Okay. Los Angeles Clippers.
Growing, improving.
The coach that, okay, well, this is a question. The coach in the NBA that you wish you played for.
Pat Riley.
Pat Riley. Wow. Lakers. Lakers. Yeah.
Even
80s.
or even Greg Popovich.
That's great. That's good. Good. Now, what are the things that you're doing right now? You know, that keeps you busy. You know, amid this pandemic.
Mentoring players, and also, you know, trying to establish my youth basketball program, called Stars Elite.
Yeah.
Just giving back to the community, you know, whatever way I can, you know, but mostly coaching and mentoring.
I see. Now, any message to your fans, supporters, and family?
To my fans and supporters, thank you. Thank you for, you know, for standing by me all these years. Thank you for your support and believing in me, the undying love. You know, I reciprocate it, you know, and I show my appreciation every opportunity that I get. You know, when I was 18 years old, I went to my very first LA Clippers game. They're playing against the Houston Rockets. Dominique Wilkins was a member of the Clippers team.
Oh.
I asked him for his autograph after the game. He looked at me and just kind of gave me this, you know, whatever, and walked off. Hakeem Olajuwon was standing behind him and looked at him and then looked at me and shook his head. And I said, "That's okay. One day I'm going to be in the NBA and you're going to want my autograph." You know, and I had another little expletive, you know. And 3 years later, you know, that was when I was 18. 3 years later at 21, I'm in the NBA, you know, and I'm playing against Hakeem Olajuwon and the Houston Rockets. He comes up to me during warm-ups. He says, "Hey, kid, I remember you. You told Dominique that one day you're going to be in the NBA. You made it. Congratulations." You know, and that was an awesome feeling. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, although he was my favorite player, he was a jerk. And he would never sign an autograph. He would never take a picture with me, you know. And because of the way he and Dominique had, you know, the way they made me feel by turning me away like that, that hurt. You know, that hurt. I never wanted any fans to experience that. So every time I was asked to sign an autograph, I signed it. You know, every time I was asked to take a picture, I took it because I never wanted them to know what that felt like, you know, to be, you know, turned away and made to seem like they didn't matter. The fans absolutely do matter, you know, and we appreciate the fans. You know, they come out there and support us, you know, and we love them for it. You know, I was always the last person off of the court because I wouldn't leave until I signed every last autograph. You know, and I used to get in trouble for it, you know, but I didn't care because I just didn't want this kid to walk away with a bad taste in his mouth or, you know, a bad feeling about Keith Kloss because I didn't sign an autograph for him. You know, I have to say one more thing. With Kareem being my favorite player, my first AAU coach, Jim Espinosa, retired sheriff's deputy. He's the one that helped me develop my hook shot when I was 15 years old. He said, "Kareem's your favorite player, but you don't have a hook shot. You shoot jumpers, you shoot threes, you cross guys over, but you're dunking on guys, but you don't have a hook shot." So he made sure that I started shooting a hook shot. He taught me how to shoot a hook shot, you know, and I have to give him all the respect and acknowledgement for that, because that's what he did for me.
Yeah, as you can see on the screen, that's one of your shot, the hook shot against
Oh
Shaquille.
yeah, yeah. I remember that shot. It went in.
Now, I was checking on your files, on your pictures. I was able to get this. Now, how about this? I mean, you were able to, get up close and personal with your idol.
Yeah.
How was it?
It wasn't. It wasn't. He was a jerk. I love him. I love him, but he wasn't really. See, when he came in, all he heard about was all the negative stuff with me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so he didn't really have a chance to get to know me, the
Mm-hmm.
real me. He was just going off of hearsay. And I grew up playing AAU ball with Kareem Jr.
Mm-hmm.
So, I used to always get on Kareem Jr. about his dad. Your dad's so mean, man. Why is he such a jerk? You know, and Kareem was, yeah, I know. So when Kareem Sr. joined our coaching staff, he wasn't really paying too much attention to me. We had just drafted, Michael Olowokandi. So his focus was helping develop Olowokandi's skills on the
Mm-hmm.
block. And he just kind of ignored me. So I go down and work on my game, my ball handling, my shooting on my own. One day they're at the other end of the court and Olowokandi just gets really disrespectful. Man, what you're showing me that may have worked 50 years ago, it's not working in today's game. It's a different game. And I was just like, whoa, he said that to the greatest player of all time. Like,
Mm-hmm.
wow. And it pissed off Kareem. And so
Mm-hmm.
he's walking off the court and he looks at me and says, all right, Claus, show me what you got. I said, what do you want to see? He said, you already know what I want to see. So, oh, my hook shot? I said, yeah. So I go ahead, so you want left hand or right hand? He says, you're left-handed. Let me see your left hand. So I go up, boom, perfect sky hook. And he says, all right, let me see your right. Let me see your right hand. I go up, boom, my right hand, perfect sky hook. You know, not bad, not bad. All right, let's see how you do with a little defense, with a little pressure. So he bumps me, and to see if it's going to knock me off balance.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still light in the butt at the time, but I knew how to shoot that shot.
Yeah.
Even with the contact. So I absorbed the contact, and I still hit it when he did it. He was like, man, I've been wasting my time down there. I should have been down here with you. I said, I've been coming after you since I was 5 years old, and you just ignored me. And now you want to be my friend and teach me something? Just giving him a hard time. He
Yeah.
said, you still want that autograph and picture? I said, hell no, man. I don't want that anymore. I said, it's because of you. I said, you're the reason that I'm always the last one to come in after the games, man. All those times that you turn me down for pictures and autographs, I don't want these kids to know what that feels like. I do that because of you, And he was just standing there like, you know, well, I said, I still love you, but you're a dick,
What did he say?
And he just, oh, whatever, man, whatever. Let's get back to work. Let's get back to work. What else you got? You know. And so from that day until my last day with the Clippers, he always worked with me.
Wow.
And I really cherish each and every moment of that. That was my dream come true. You know.
Wow, that is great. Anyway, I know I have taken a lot of your time, and I'm very
It's okay.
thankful that you shared your stories about your NBA experience, on how you dealt with those problems, personal problems of yours, and what are you doing after your basketball career. I'm very thankful for sharing your time with us. I appreciate it. And best of luck on your endeavors. I'll keep in touch with you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, maybe one day you'll see me in the Philippines.
Yes. Hopefully, once this pandemic is over.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hey, I
Okay.
want to
Now,
wish you and your
yes.
family the best of health and safety out there.
You too, sir. It's my pleasure, having to talk to you.
Pleasure's mine.
Yes.
Thank you,
So,
Kiko.
guys, with that, that wraps up another episode of Extra Session with Kiko Malikdem. Of course, like what I said, I would like to say thank you to our guest, Mr. Keith Kloss. And of course, best of luck again. And for everyone, like I've been saying, games are always exciting if there is extra session. Good day.
Thank you for listening. Make sure to visit our website at www.guerrillapodcastsyndicate.com, where you can subscribe to the show in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or via RSS, so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, rate and review this podcast and share it with your friends. You can also join the conversation with Guerrillas RV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Please consider on making a donation to help us keep making the podcast you love. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us.